Welcome to Plymouth Plantation. Get ready. Today you'll come face to face with the 17th century.
I didn't know we might have.
For many, Plymouth conjures up the familiar tale of 102 pilgrims, brave souls who sailed the Mayflower and invited friendly Indians to a Thanksgiving feast. But today you'll go beyond this happily ever after myth to discover the true story of two different cultures from two very different perspectives. The English colonists and the Wampanoag people.
Now more and more ships come. They're carrying wild, dangerous men, strange animals, and muskets.
We builded our town on an unpeopled place, inhabited only by wild beasts and wild men.
One of the English asked for one of our boys to give to his brother as a gift. What kind of people are these?
I understand there are some Indians that would be rid of us, rid of all Englishmen. But our king, he hath granted us leave to plant ourselves here.
Your journey into this fascinating and sometimes conflicting history begins as you leave the visitor center and travel to the exhibits. The Wampanoag home site, the 1627 English village, the Crafts Center, Nye Barn, Mayflower 2. The first exhibit is down the woodland path at the Wampanoag home site. Here, the museum staff are native people dressed in traditional clothes. They demonstrate traditional activities, but they speak in English from a modern perspective.
Hi, welcome to the Wampanoag home site. I'm going inside the nursery to talk about our history.
You might be wondering why we're not playing characters from the past. In this way, we can talk about Wampanoag history, past and present. We can also answer questions about myths and stereotypes of Native people.
Remember, at Plymouth, you're the explorer. So jump in, ask lots of questions.
What are you doing with the fire?
Is the Wampanoag language still spoken?
What do you do with the corn?
Did the children go to school?
How do you carry the baby?
And you'll get some great answers.
Here, we're making a mashoon. Mashoon is a traditional vessel.
Yes, you would always cook your food over the fire. You can make parched corn, which isn't as fluffy as modern popped corn.
Here you'll discover a history that began years before the English colonists landed at Plymouth. When the Wampanoag called this place Patuxent.
Our history tells us we were created. We've been here longer than any ancestor could remember.
My people live in more than 60 villages, from the island of Nantucket north to Wessagusset.
Our way of life is ancient and well established. We have all that we need.
We care for the land. Therefore, food grows in abundance. We are the land, and the land is us.
The Wampanoag way of life was interrupted long before Mayflower arrived, when European traders and fishermen came to the Wampanoag homeland.
When these strangers come, we trade with them, but now we have learned to be very cautious.
The Wampanoag had good reason to be cautious. English traders kidnapped many native people along the coast. In 1614, at least 20 Wampanoag men were taken from Patuxet. These native people were brought back to Europe as curiosities and sold as slaves. The Wampanoag continued to suffer. In 1616, European diseases killed thousands of native people, including more than half of the Wampanoag.
Many diseases have come. Men, women, and children, entire villages have died. The bones of the dead lie on the ground, and no one is left alive to bury them. In the village of Patuxet, no one was left alive.
It is here, upon the ruins of the Wampanoag village of Patuxet, that the English colonists would build the town of Plymouth. You can find a recreation of the early Plymouth colony by continuing on the woodland path along the Eel River.
Oh, good day. How do you fare? Have you brought news from England? What are the war between the Spanish and the Dutch? Well, come along then. You're welcome in our town.
Here, at the 1627 English village, the colonial guides are all role players. They depict the original 17th century English colonists. Unlike the Wampanoag, they speak and act as in the 1600s.
Oh, nay, indeed. I came on a ship called Fortune in 1621. As I am an unmarried man, I board here with another family here in this house.
I have some mussels I've set to seethe with some parsley and peppercorn.
The attitudes expressed by the guides are not their own. They represent the colonists, and they might be surprising.
Freedom of religion. I vow we should not wish such a thing here. Many of us lived in Leiden, where they tolerate all manner of heresy. It was a poor place to live, and a very low condition for those of us who are English.
And they have their own stories to tell.
Good morning, how are you? We first came here some 7 years ago, in the year 1620. My husband was here then, though I come later. Would you like to hear more about it? Come and help me gather some firewood.
Their story begins when Mayflower set sail in the fall of 1620. The 102 colonists who boarded Mayflower came seeking land and prosperity.
We have undertaken for the glory of God and the advancement of our Christian faith and the honour of our King and country, King James, a voyage to plant the first colony in New England.
The merchants who provided the money for this venture will want an accounting. It will be a wonder if we can make a profit at this undertaking.
We are English, but our church was in Holland, where we lived for a dozen years. There, our poverty and grief for our children, who were sore oppressed by heavy labours, caused us to seek out a place where we might both bring our church and prosper.
In December 1620, the colonists anchored off the coast of Patuxet and came ashore. It wasn't long before a relationship began between the colonists and the Wampanoag people. It was an uneasy relationship.
Our governor sent my husband with gifts for the Indian king, Massasoit.
I bring you this gift from our governor, of a copper chain.
Why? To see in what manner he lives and judge the strength he has about him.
My governor gives you this horseman's coat.
The Wampanoag also realized they needed to watch the English closely.
The first summer that the English stayed there, Massasoit sent Hopalong to live with the English so that he would know what the English did.
Although they treated each other with courtesy, both groups were guarded and vigilant.
Knowing our own weakness, we thought it needful to build a palisade around our town.
Not the farm or sawmill. Some say it's too late to remove them from our land. Not the human. Otherwise we will suffer for it. Not the qualm.
By 1627, the English had built dozens of houses, and the village of Plymouth was here to stay. Many of the historically accurate items you find at Plymouth Plantation are made at the Crafts Center, just a short walk from the village. Here you can watch modern-day craftspeople at work and ask questions about their projects.
I'm making a pot for one of the village houses down below.
What did they use it for?
Well, this would be a drinking pot, and they would probably, back in 1627, just be drinking water from it.
We use this mortise and tenon joint, this slot like that, and this piece that fits into it, and then I drill holes through them and put wooden pins in it.
The final exhibit is on the waterfront, in the town of Plymouth, about 3 miles from here. It's Mayflower 2, a reproduction of the original Mayflower. At Mayflower 2, you'll find modern guides as well as 17th century role players.
Did people get sick?
Aye, soon after we arrived, a sickness come amongst us. Now nearly half of us be dead.
Mayflower 2 sailed here from England in 1957, and she's still seaworthy. We still sail sometimes.
At Plymouth, you'll find that each exhibit is a part of a larger picture of history. You'll begin to look past the popular myth and see the Wampanoag and the colonists as real people, struggling in a complex relationship. Plymouth Plantation. 2 peoples, 1 story. Get ready to step into the 17th century. You might be surprised by what you find here.